Have you ever had a moment that completely changed the course of your life? That's what happened to Mark when his date uttered those 8 words. If you're enjoying this story, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories that remind us of the unexpected ways love finds us. The restaurant noise faded to a distant hum as Mark stared at Eliza across the table, her words hanging in the air between them. You can leave. I'm a single mom. Her eyes, which had sparkled with laughter just moments before, now held a guarded vulnerability he recognized all too well. Mark had seen that same look in his own mirror for the past 3 years. 40 minutes earlier, he'd been sitting in his car, gripping the steering wheel and seriously considering driving away. This was his first date since Claire had left, taking everything except their son Jamie and a mountain of debt. 3 years of single fatherhood had transformed him from the confident man he once was into someone who second-guessed every decision, especially this one. His sister had practically forced him to create the dating profile. You can't hide behind Jamie forever, she'd said while setting up his account. You deserve happiness too. When Eliza had matched with him, their conversation flowed so naturally that for the first time, he felt a flicker of hope. But now, sitting across from her in this dimly lit restaurant, watching her prepare for rejection, Mark realized something profound. I'm not going anywhere, he said softly. I'm a single dad. The relief that washed over her face mirrored exactly what he'd felt hearing her confession. Neither had mentioned their children in their profiles, both protecting the most precious parts of their lives until they were sure. His name is Jamie. He's 6, Mark added. Lily, Eliza replied, her smile returning. She's 5. Mark hadn't planned on telling Eliza about the night Claire left. Yet somehow, between the main course and dessert, he found himself describing how he'd come home from work to find a note and half-empty closets. The hardest part wasn't even that she left, he confessed, tracing the rim of his water glass. It was explaining to Jamie why Mommy wasn't coming home, when I didn't understand it myself. Eliza nodded, understanding etched in every line of her face. Michael, Lily's father, he stayed until she was 2. Then decided family life wasn't what he wanted after all. She gave a small shrug that failed to hide the pain. At least he was honest, I suppose. How do you do it? Mark asked. Balance everything? Badly, some days, Eliza laughed, but there was truth in her eyes. Other days, I look at Lily and somehow find the strength. What about you? I've learned to braid hair, Mark said with a proud grin. Jamie wanted to grow his out like his friend at school. I watched about 50 YouTube tutorials before I got it right. Impressive, Eliza smiled. I've become quite the expert at catching spiders without screaming. Lily thinks they're fascinating. Brave woman. Necessity, she countered. When you're the only adult in the house, you learn to do things you never thought you could. By the time they left the restaurant, something had shifted between them. The connection wasn't just attraction anymore, it was recognition. 2 people who understood exactly what the other was carrying. Their second date involved ice cream and 2 curious children sizing each other up across a park bench. My dad says you have a dog, Jamie said to Lily, licking chocolate from his fingers. His name is Rocket because he zooms really fast, Lily replied, demonstrating with her hand. Do you like dogs? I like all animals, Jamie declared. Even the scary ones. Mark and Eliza exchanged glances over their heads, both suppressing smiles. They had agreed to introduce the kids early, no point getting attached if their children didn't get along. But their worries proved unfounded when Jamie offered to push Lily on the swings, and she showed him how to make the perfect sand castle in return. They seemed to be hitting it off, Eliza said, watching them play. Better than we did at first, Mark teased, referencing her almost dismissal at the restaurant. I've had men walk out mid-date when they found out about Lily, she admitted. It seemed easier to give them the exit before they could hurt us. Mark reached for her hand. Their loss. The challenges came, as they always do. Their first argument happened 3 months in, when Mark had to cancel plans because Jamie came down with the flu. "I understand," Eliza had said on the phone, but her voice was tight. "You're upset," he observed. "I'm not," she insisted, then sighed. "Maybe a little. I'd arranged for my mom to watch Lily, and it's not easy to get her to commit. But I get it, Jamie needs you." "I'm sorry," Mark said, meaning it. "I know how hard it is to arrange childcare." "It's fine. It's just, sometimes I wonder if this is too complicated. 2 single parents trying to date." The silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken fears. "Maybe it is complicated," Mark finally said. "But I think you're worth the effort." After Jamie recovered, Mark arranged a special evening to make up for the cancelled date. He enlisted his sister's help to create a backyard movie night for all 4 of them: string lights, projector, homemade popcorn, and blanket forts. Watching Eliza laugh as the kids acted out scenes from the movie, Mark realized he was falling in love not just with her, but with the family they could become. 6 months into their relationship, the real test came when Jamie had a meltdown after spending the day with all of them. "I don't want a new mom," he shouted, tears streaming down his face. "What if she leaves too?" Mark held his son, heartbreaking. "Buddy, Eliza isn't trying to replace your mom." "But you like her better," Jamie sobbed. "You smile more with her." Mark hadn't realized Jamie had noticed that, hadn't even realized it himself until his son pointed it out. "I do smile more with Eliza," he admitted. "But that doesn't mean I love you any less. My heart has plenty of room. What if she doesn't want me?" Jamie whispered, voicing his deepest fear. The next day, Mark called Eliza and explained what happened. "I think we need to slow down," he said reluctantly. Jamie's struggling. Instead of disappointment, her voice filled with understanding. "Lily asked me last week if your house would be her new home. I think they're both feeling the changes. They agreed to take a step back, fewer whole family outings, more one-on-one time with their own children." Mark spent the next few weeks rebuilding Jamie's security, reassuring him through actions rather than words that nothing could change their bond. When they carefully tried again, Eliza suggested a different approach. Instead of trying to create perfect family outings, they let the kids take the lead. Jamie wanted to show Lily his collection of rocks, Lily wanted Jamie to meet her grandma. Slowly, organically, they began to form connections that weren't forced or threatening. 1 year after their first date, Mark sat on Eliza's couch after the children had gone to bed, turning a small box over in his hands. "I'm not proposing," he clarified quickly when her eyes widened. "Not yet. But I wanted to give you something." Inside was a delicate silver key. "It's to my house," he explained. "I know we've talked about moving in together someday, and I'm not rushing that. But I wanted you to know you always have a place with us, whenever you're ready." Eliza disappeared into her bedroom and returned with a matching box. "Great minds," she said with a watery smile, revealing another key. "For when you're ready too." They both understood what these keys represented, not just access to physical spaces, but to the careful, patient building of a blended family. One where past hurts weren't forgotten but were gradually healing. 2 years after that first date, they moved into a new house together, neutral territory that belonged to all of them. Jamie and Lily chose their own room colors and helped arrange furniture, claiming ownership of the space alongside their parents. There were adjustments, of course. Household rules had to be aligned, parenting styles compared and compromises made. They discovered Lily was allergic to Mark's favorite breakfast cereal, and Jamie had a habit of leaving wet towels exactly where Eliza needed to walk. But they also discovered unexpected joys, Jamie teaching Lily to ride a bike, Lily helping Jamie with his reading, family movie nights where they all piled onto one couch despite having plenty of seating. The wedding was small, just family and close friends in their backyard. Jamie stood proudly as his father's best man, while Lily scattered flower petals with scientific precision, counting each one to ensure even distribution. During the ceremony, Mark added special vows for Lily, promising to always respect her mother, to support her dreams, and to be there whenever she needed him. Eliza did the same for Jamie, her voice breaking when she promised never to leave when things got difficult. Later, as they danced under string lights in their yard, Eliza leaned close to Mark's ear. "Remember when I told you that you could leave because I was a single mom?" "Best failed attempt at getting rid of someone ever," he replied, spinning her gently. "I was so scared," she admitted. "Not just of being rejected, but of letting someone in again. Of trusting." Mark glanced over at their children, now siblings in all the ways that mattered, chasing fireflies at the edge of the yard. "I think we both needed someone who understood exactly what we had to lose. And what we had to gain," Eliza added, following his gaze. Life wasn't perfect. They still faced challenges, school problems, teenage attitudes as the kids grew older, the delicate navigation of co-parenting with Claire who had reappeared in Jamie's life wanting to reconnect. But the foundation they had built was strong enough to weather these storms. They had created something neither had believed possible that night in the restaurant, a family formed not from obligation or blood, but from choice. From the daily decision to stay, to work through difficulties, to love not just each other but each other's children as their own. Years later, when Jamie graduated high school, he thanked both Mark and Eliza in his speech. "My dad taught me how to be strong when life falls apart," he said. "And Eliza showed me that sometimes life falls apart so it can be rebuilt into something even better." That night, as they drove home from the ceremony, Mark reached for Eliza's hand across the center console. "Remember our first date?" he asked. "How could I forget? I nearly chased you away before we even had a chance." "I've been thinking about that moment a lot lately," Mark said. "How different our lives would be if either of us had given in to fear." "Sometimes the bravest thing we do is simply stay," Eliza replied, squeezing his hand. "Even when it would be easier to leave." As they pulled into the driveway of the home they had built together, both literally and figuratively, Mark realized that what had begun as two broken families had transformed into something whole. Not perfect, not without scars, but stronger at the mended places. Sometimes love isn't about finding the perfect person, but finding someone who understands your struggles because they've lived them too. Someone who knows exactly how precious and precarious happiness can be, and chooses to build it with you anyway, one careful day at a time. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more content that celebrates the complicated, beautiful journey of finding love when you least expect it. Remember that sometimes the most meaningful connections come from shared struggles rather than perfect circumstances. Leave a comment below sharing your own experiences with blended families or unexpected love stories.